Okay, I think we're live. Had a little bit of trouble there, but I think we got it. Said I was out of storage for StreamYard, and anyway. So, give me a second. I'm going to shut that fan off. Forgot about that. All right, boys. There we go. Oh, then I got stray cats coming up to eat. Give me a second. I'm going to wait while people come on here. 2 seconds here. Get some food up for the cats. All right, sorry about that. I always forget to do that until I see the cats coming up on the camera. As soon as it gets dark out, they like to come up and eat. Because they're scared, of course, to come in the daytime. So, anyway, gotta feed the stray cats. They come like clockwork. And they're my little heroes because they got rid of the pigeons in my barn, which were nasty. Anyway, so I am here to feed them. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. And we have tonight we have the Greek and Roman influence on our pagan calendar, and got let's see, quite a few tabs open. So we're going to go through a few things tonight. Can't cover it all, but we're going to go over the basics. The calendars very briefly, and then the weeks. I mean the day. Well, I should say the days and the months, because the weeks aren't really named. So anyway, let me get my live stream up here so I can read it easier. And there we go. When we are on the Gregorian calendar, yes, Pope Gregory calendar. Greek and Roman influence on our calendar. There we go. Oh, and while I'm waiting, I could probably also pull up a thumbnail for last night. We compared the Greek and the Roman gods. The Romans pretty much just renamed the Greek gods, the Olympian gods. All right, so there we are. We have a fly in here. So I think he came in yesterday, and I've been looking for him. So here he is. Got a little something for him. Oh, he's trying to get away. Oh, come on. I talked to you. Anyway, he's gotten away a few times, so I'm after him. I got my fly swatter handy now. If he comes around again, had the door open and a fly got in yesterday, so he's been evading me very well. He's very good at getting away. As soon as I grab that fly swatter, man, he just disappears and I can't find him. So he better not multiply and have family in here. But that's summertime, right? Comes with the bugs. And mosquitoes have been horrendous in Minnesota here, but that's the first fly I've seen, so I don't think I've seen any other flies this year. That's the first one. So Anyway, that's not too bad. All right. You know what's weird? I go to the dump. I've gone to, well, I used to go to dump for my living. Well, the last 15, 20 years or so, but there's never really flies at the dump. You'd think there would be. You'd think there'd be flies, and especially this dump up here. Oh my goodness, does that stink? Wow. They warned me never to come on a Wednesday again because that was their seafood. Uh, the the garbage, they pick up the garbage from the casino on Wednesdays, and oh, does that stink? They said the seafood buffet is just rancid, and even it makes the guys at work there gag, and they can smell anything, and even they gag from that. So I made sure to never go back on a Wednesday again. I took their word. Yeah, that stunk, man. Uh, and the lady in the at the scale, because you have to go over the scale, and you have to check in with her, and she said they get crabby on those days because it stinks so bad. The guys get crabby, she said. Anyway, I don't blame them. In fact, sometimes when I go in there, it get like a stabbing. It stinks so bad. I try to go there early as possible, so before it gets hot, before too much trash gets in there, and before, because it's a substation. It's just anyway. Stinks, man, it stinks. See, in the summertime, when it's hot, you gotta get there early before it gets too stinky and hot. But anyway, that was a doozy. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do tonight, and I'm happy to refresh myself on this stuff, especially tonight's gonna be fun because we're gonna go over the days of the week, all named after pagan gods, and also the months of the year, 12 months of the year. Uh, and that's funny, they got 12 Olympian gods, 12 months of the year, uh, named after 12 Roman gods. Planets, lots of them planets. So, anyway, yeah, so that's the plan for tonight. I'm watching. I got my own two cats are outside, and they're waiting for the homeless cats to show up. They have to come up by our house to get food, and my cats sit there, and they just like sitting on a bench and watching them, or sitting on the ground and watching them. But anyway, so that is the plan for tonight. The Greek Roman influence on our calendar. Uh, yeah. Anyway, what a beautiful day out today. Beautiful. I just got done cutting my grass. That was fun, and looks so nice when it's done. And worked in my garden today is what I did. Put up some fencing and all kinds of stuff. Put up a lot of fencing and mesh and all kinds of things. So Trella says, "Well, hey Grace, how you doing tonight? Greetings, shalom to you too. I hope you had a wonderful day. Hope all is well in Graceland." Anyway, I'm gonna put this into a holder so I don't not disconnect it. All right. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate that. How was your date today, Grace? I spent most of the day in my garden. I was putting up fencing and trellis and some mesh. And my garden is just taken right off, man. I'm just so happy. Even the things I planted from seed are looking good. So I'll be eating cucumbers in no time, hopefully. And tomatoes. Uneventful. Didn't do much of anything today. Yeah, that can be good too. Yeah, I worked in the garden most of the day, pretty much all day actually. I'm trying different stuff. I'm trying a different way for the cucumbers, putting them up a trellis, which I have done before, but this year I'm training it. This year I'm training, before, like, the last several years, I've been really busy and it just kind of gets out of hand and tomatoes are everywhere. Everything's all over the place. Well, this year I'm working on it every single day, tying things up, and anyway, I'm pretty happy. I just dealt with something called powder mold. I think it's called powder mold. Can't remember. I think it's called powdery mold or something like that on my cucumber leaves, and it looks like, it looks like somebody took bleach and just poured it all over and stained all of the leaves. And powdery mildew, I think it's called. Anyway, all you have to do is take some baking soda and water and put it in a sprayer. And I sprayed all the plants and it stopped it in its tracks. Yeah, it was everywhere though. I mean, it was within 3-4 days, it was everywhere. So yeah, I clipped some of them, but some of them I just left. I sprayed it with baking soda and water and it stopped. Stopped it in its tracks. It's recovering now. So anyway, that works. That really works. Forget all that expensive stuff to buy. Baking soda and water. Yeah, I had it on most of the leaves. I mean, it was pretty bad. It went fast, and anyway, I got it back under control. Thank God. Yeah, your garden is looking awesome. Good. It's funny how fast it goes, because just a month ago I didn't even have anything in the ground, and now it's rocking. I mean, it's rocking and rolling. I've already been eating my celery. I already been eating my romaine lettuce and my celery so far. I got fruit coming in my fruit trees too. But anyway, so I like growing my own food. Can't grow all of it or even half of it, but it's something. Your veggies, and I got a grapevine, but just when the grapes get ripe, like overnight, the birds just rob the entire tree. So I'm going to trick them this year. I'm going to put this net over it. Net. And see if that stops them. I don't know. They'll probably eat the net too. Anyway. All right. Yes, it's just beautiful right now. All right, so that's the plan, Stan, for tonight. We're going to refresh our memories on the Greek and Roman calendar that we look at every day. And this is probably, most people have heard this maybe once at least, maybe twice, or maybe none. So they'll either be hearing something new or it'll be a little refresher of your memory. Thank you, whoever gave me the second thumbs up. Appreciate that. So yeah, that's the plan. We are on the Gregorian calendar, the Pope Gregory calendar. It's so weird. Anyway, we'll get into that. Another failed prophecy. Seems the famous YouTube prophet said that growing a garden is a waste of time since nothing is going to grow anyways. He's seen it in his dream. Yes, but that is just an excuse for being lazy. You can just say, well, I had a dream that no matter what you try to grow, it's not going to grow. And then just go to a restaurant and just order a big plate of food. But that's not really my style. But yes, I think it is another pill prophecy. Why no? Don't you know they're spraying stuff over your head? Yes, I did hear that in a Bible conversation the other day. Yeah, they might be, but you know what? My garden's doing fine. I can't even believe it. Some of my boxes weren't even I didn't even clean them out yet for the year a month ago. And I got stuff growing. I should do a little video. My carrots are coming up. My dill is coming up. I've got cantaloupe that are sprouting. All kinds of cantaloupe coming in. I got lots of cucumbers, 2 beds of cucumbers. And I got some tomato plants out there. I got 7. But I've got probably 15 tomato plants up by my house here. Because I'm tired of battling with that little gopher, whatever it is out there. As soon as my tomato gets ripe, he takes one big bite out of it and then goes to the next one. I go out there and it's just like a human. I could see the teeth and marks and everything. I don't know what it is, but it got like human teeth. I don't know how he's getting in. It don't matter anyway. So most of my tomato plants are up here. Let him try to come up here and get them. Anyway, he still likes other things. He likes potatoes, but I didn't plant any potatoes this year. You know what was really weird? And I learned something about this. So when I was digging my garden up this year, I was digging up where I had potatoes last year. Potatoes are so easy to grow, you guys. It's so easy to grow, and it's pretty much free. When you just have your potatoes, just ignore them for a little while, and they'll get all them sprouts on them, and cut them in half and plop them in the ground, and man, they just grow like crazy. People used to grow them in their basements and boxes, and um, people live off that. But anyway, I don't even know how he did it. He would go underground and take one bite on each one, and I don't even know how he's doing it. And if I had a carrot sticking up on the ground at all, he'd bite that. Anyway, I'm tired of him. I was going to put a live trap, but then what? I don't even know what it is. And I go out there one morning and there's something, some monster thing in my trap. Now what do I do with him? Take a big hook and grab it or what? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess I just got to hide my stuff from him. Try sprinkling fresh dried peppers in your garden. That's what we do. It keeps pests out for it. Oh, really? Dried peppers, huh? Yeah, I do have some bell peppers that are coming in. Yeah. Little stinkers. Yeah, I don't know. It could just be one big rodent and it's like fighting a human. Oh, the hot ones, like some ghost peppers or something? Or how about some, I got a jar of jalapenos. Can I throw those in there? Then for some reason, everything I have will taste like jalapeno. Which wouldn't be horrible, unless it's maybe a cantaloupe. I don't know if I'd like cantaloupe with jalapeno. I don't know. All right, so let's do this. All right, so thank you, Father, for another day and providing all of our needs and gathering us this evening. Amen. Okay. Let me find the tab I want and I'll pull up the. You know what I learned today? Besides the. Actually, I just forgot what I learned. Anyway, never mind. I forgot the first thing that I just said that I learned. But I learned a second thing. Second thing I learned today was that the Catholic Church made pagan gods and goddesses Catholic saints, which I kind of knew that and forgot. And now that I just like got reminded of it, I'm like, wow, why doesn't anybody say anything about that? You know what I mean? Like maybe a long time ago when I heard about it, maybe it didn't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. Yeah. Anyway, of course we have the zodiac and all that. But I was just looking at this one here. Pagan gods. You know what website is from? Comingintheclouds.org. Comingintheclouds.org. Oh my goodness. Said the Roman gods known as the Gemini, which I happen to be one. I'm not a Roman god. I'm a Gemini. I'm born in so are you, and so is John. And anyway, the Roman gods known as the Gemini, who were protectors of sailors in Roman pagan times, became the Catholic Sanctus Gemino. Sounds French. Gemino. Like Gemini, except with the O on the end. Gemino. Probably a Gemino. Anyway, crazy, huh? But who's counting at this point? All right. Let me find. So like I'm not going to go into the whole history of calendars and stuff because it's like we'll just do a fast oh actually no, you know what, back up just a minute. I am going to say something more about this. The pagan gods and goddesses that became Catholic saints. I do have to say something about this. It's not really what I'm going to talk about tonight, but anyway, I'll just show you real quick. I was going to close this, but I'm going to open it. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. I don't know why all my settings got wiped out on my phone. I think because it said StreamYard was out of memory or something. Dang it, Bill. Front. Dang, it's not, what in the heck? I have an issue. Trees. Number 1. Huh. Weird. I can't get my camera to work. Hold on a second. Got to be kidding me. My camera was acting like I've never used it before. I don't know why. There it goes. All right. Yeah, I've had the camera. That's weird. All right. So yeah, I will just say real quick about these pagan gods. They did become Catholic saints. But anyway, universal goddess is the Queen of Heaven. Nearly all religions have a goddess worship. It's a common bond. The Vatican is using Marian apparitions and the deification, of Mary to unite these religions into one world religion, according to some sources. Anyway, so let me get over here to all right. Greek gods, and there is the zodiac. Wait a minute. It's not coming up. All right, so first of all, real quick, I'm not going to go a lot through it, but we're going to I'm going to pull up a brief little overview of the calendars that they have gone through. We're now in the Gregorian calendar, Pope Gregory calendar. And I do have a tab for that right here. A list. So we had it's weird. There used to be a 13-month calendar. I don't know how that worked. In fact, I'll show you real quick. A 13-month calendar. The death and life of the 13-month calendar. I guess it didn't work out. Because, it just keeps going in circles. 12 months is 12 months. You do 13 months, now pretty soon it's snowing in June. It ain't gonna work out. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. So what we're gonna do is go over here to, yeah, they tried some kind of weird calendars that didn't work out, but you can only, it's gonna be 300. I think it used to be 360 days a year. I can't remember. There was a 9-month calendar too. Yeah, weird. And you know what? I've seen a bunch of these calendars too. I've seen this where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16. I'm not even sure why it does that. Anyway, they've had some strange calendars. Yeah, 9-month calendar, that really, I don't know how that would work, because like I said, after pretty soon it's snowing in June, and you're planting in December, and just that, I don't know how that would work. I don't think that would work real good. 1 second. All right, where am I here? In fact, well, hey, Patrick, good to see you tonight. Shalom to Patrick. Good to see you tonight. So we got the Gregorian calendar. That's a Pope Gregory calendar. Ancient calendar. Julian calendar. Julian calendar was before this one. Anyway, I'll go over that. World's oldest calendar. The first calendar invented. Calendar system. Ancient calendars. So, you could go on forever studying these calendars. That's weird, because that looks like a Social Security card, doesn't it? January 1943. Anyway, that's weird. They had these kind of calendars. Then they had zodiac calendar. Oh, that must be October, huh? 1582. October. How is it possible that the Jewish calendar could be made in 3364 BC? They might be thinking that that's what it says in my life application study about. I don't know about that. I'd be suspicious of the 33 right there, even though my shirt says 33 right now. Yeah, I mean, there, if you go back, like some of these are, where is it? First calendar invented. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would say that's the, I meant to the exact, yeah, I don't know. You know what? The problem is you got to take their word for it. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? As a matter of fact, I'm starting to think the Earth is a lot older than 6,000 years old, or 7,000 almost, whatever it is. Because how did Adam and Eve have a kid, and the kid ends up going to another city, and God has to put his mark on him to make sure nobody kills him? Who? Make sure who kills him? What city? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. A lot of that is like you have to you got to take their word for it. You know what I mean? I have a healthy skepticism of all of that now. Who knows? I was thinking the other day, it would be funny? I mean, was it all scribed back then? Who knows? Who it really is to say, like, was this the first calendar? Is this the first? Who knows? You know why? Because even even like the oldest text they have, like copies, scrolls of Isaiah and stuff. No, that's none of them is the original. They're copies of copies of copies of copies of copies, copies. So even their oldest writings are just copies of copies of copies of copies. Who knows how old they are? So, paper doesn't last too long. And even if you write it on a sheepskin or whatever, it's not going to last that long. It don't last forever. So we probably got no idea what was written down. You know what I mean? Copies of copies. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's, and the same with the New Testament. Even the New Testament, they don't have nothing original. I mean, nothing. The old, the farthest they can go back is, again, copies of copies of copies. I mean, and these, and when people are, say I have a say I have a scroll of Isaiah, or I have and before the scribes, before the scribes, you guys, there were just regular people that say, hey, I have a copy of Isaiah, and my friend wants a copy, so I'm going to, there's that fly, I'm going to copy my, not thinking that someday this is going to be in the Bible. You know what I mean? So so it's just like me. If I have a book, and it's the only book there is, I'm going to have to copy it by hand and give it to my neighbor. Okay, I'm going to make mistakes. I mean, we're all going to make mistakes. And not only that, but people didn't know how to spell all the way. There's mistakes made, and who's spell checking? Nobody. So, I mean, like I said, and then you got it, and then there was, anyway. So I don't think nothing's original. I just, if it was the perfect word of God, there wouldn't be mistakes all over it. That's for sure. Who knows what was actually put in writing and what was intentionally not written exactly? Now that we already know that I mean, even just a few hundred years ago, the Vatican went through the Bible and put together what they want us to have and took out things, and even in the Hebrew Bible. Anyway, so yeah. at this point, it's fun to read and study. I wouldn't bet my life on nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and not only that, but I've also learned that a lot of these stories are from older texts that were way before the Hebrews, like Job and probably Jonah, and I don't know, other ones that were probably Mesopotamian or Mesopotamia, whatever it is. Those other things that are. That's why, anyway. They're putting their own name. It's like me getting a copy of, I don't know, the Brady Bunch, and I'm going to put in all my stuff and I'm going to change. Everybody's going to have a name that I'm going to name them, and they're going to. I might change the occupations or whatever. You might get the basic story, but you're gonna like, um, everything's gonna be kind of the up to the translator. Yeah, there was along the way there was scribes that were trained, and that's what their job was, to copy and copy and copy by hand. Even they made mistakes. I mean, in my quantum transfer experience, which began in the hospital from pancreatitis, I was shocked by so many explicable changes. Kathy and Grace, one of the major changes is the calendar in Orion has 365 days a year, but back in Sagittarius arm, it was 364 days a year. Well, actually, there was calendars with 364 days a year. In fact, they used to have 360 days a year. Isn't that right? Well, here, let's look. The history of the calendar. Calendars in ancient times. History of the Babylonian calendar. So ancient people had here, I'll pull this up a little bit. So the ancient times, they had their calendar, probably made out of rocks or whatever. The history of the Babylonian calendar. All right. Then we have the history of the Egyptian calendar. I mean, just think through time, how many times everybody had a way to keep track of time. They had sundials or whatever, all kinds of stuff. Then they had the Roman calendar, which you can fast forward to pretty much today. The history of the Julian calendar, which was before the one we have now. And then the history of the Gregorian calendar. So this is Pope Julian or whatever, or whatever, that Pope. And then the Pope Gregory is what we have now, the Gregorian calendar. Local calendars still in use, modern calendars, digital calendars. So right now we are on the Gregorian calendar. Pope Gregory. My thing doesn't scroll, so I'll try it. Nature of the sun brought with it enough calendar history to produce a calendar. And that's basically what it comes down, you guys. The sun and the moon and stars. I mean, Genesis says that's why God put it in the sky or whatever. It's just a fact. That's how they keep track of things. Because the sun is, like I said, loyal, steady, and true. I mean, it's always on time. It's like a train. Next year, it's going to be exact same time within the exact same seconds. Maybe it might vary like a few seconds. I don't know, but that's why eventually we have to make ours up with the leap year. Calendars in ancient times, they went by the sun and the moon, of course, which you could probably still do. Oh, look, it does look like rocks. Anyway, and this is kind of weird. This is almost like the Georgia Guidestones. This Stonehenge or whatever. You can look through it at certain times a year, and like the Georgia Guidestones, where you can line up the sun through the holes, and you could see certain stars through the holes. And anyway, the Babylonian calendar. I think that was on a disc or something. Here's a little chunk that they have. Like I said, even if it's stone, you'd be lucky to have it. So no, nobody's got any original of anything. Yeah, take everybody's word for stuff, I guess. The history of the Egyptian calendar. That's kind of cool. Huh. And then the Roman calendar. Not sure what they're doing to that guy. Oh, look at the saints. You see the saints over here? Look at that. You know, like the saints symbol. Same one over there too. A mosaic there. You know what is cool? This ancient art like this is probably the most reliable you're gonna get, more than any person. You know what I mean? You can find some old mosaic or some art from thousands of years ago. It's probably better than anything you're gonna have on paper. Um, oops. History of the Julian calendar. That was before the one we have now. I'm not going to go through all this because we got too much to go through. Naming of the months on your calendar. Now, this is what we are going to go through tonight. We're going to go through a little bit more than just a little paragraph, though. But they did. So naming, this is what we're going to go through tonight. The naming of the months and also the days of the week. You know what I mean? Adam's calendar, Adam and Eve's. Yeah. Naming of the months on your calendar. The new calendar spread across the empire. Now, this is the Gregorian calendar. Spread across the empire and also into neighboring states and client kingdoms, where calendars became 365 days with one leap day, initially every 3 years, but eventually every 4 years. What is Adam's calendar? I don't know. Maybe you should talk about Adam and Eve. I don't know. Maybe she can explain that. The names of the previous months remained mostly unchanged from the Julian calendar. January honored the god Janus, who symbolizes new beginnings. These gods are interesting to study for many reasons. I remember, I mean, they even had the Hebrew calendar for a long time. They're still on there. And the Hebrews are still on their original calendar. Get my dog out from here. So we're going to go over the months and the days. So these gods are interesting to study for many reasons, but the god Janus had one head but two faces. In honor of this god, one face could look forward to the future, another face could look back to the previous year. Every month had deep reflection, thoughts, concerns, deliberations to come to consensus of opinions. The calendar was vastly serious to these people. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the months because I'm going to go through them in a second. So here's the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar worked pretty well, but it wasn't wholly accurate. The calendar assumed that a year had precisely 365.25 days in a year. The Earth takes 365.2422 days to revolve around the sun, and that the difference of 11 minutes a year was enough to push the calendar out of alignment with the equinoxes about every 3 days for every 400 years. By the 8th century, Saint Bede, the English Benedictine monk, already noticed that the calendar had drifted by 3 days. 500 years later, Roger Bacon figured that it was a good week. It was a good week or so out of alignment. And by the year 1300, Dante talked about the need a complete calendar reform. Interesting. All right. So then they fixed the calendar. So let's see what we have next. Sorry, listen, busy hand. Adam calendar is similar to Stonehenge, but much earlier. That is kind of weird because those Georgia guidestones. You know, I was mentioning to Grace the other day that, when they tore those Georgia Guidestones down, I think it was kind of a mission accomplished kind of thing, but there's something that I saw somebody mention a while back, and I've been thinking about it. You know how on the Georgia Guidestones, they had, number one was maintain population under, I don't know what it was, 300 million or something like that. And I said, you notice the word maintain, not reduce it down to 300 million or whatever it was. I can't remember the number, but maintain it. Now, maintaining doesn't mean reducing. It doesn't mean, I think what they saw was the population was rising maybe above that number. I think what they're telling us about the population is not true. In my opinion, I don't think they're telling us the truth about the population. Because which one of us has ever added up every county, city, state, country? I don't think it's as much as they say it is. And I think it automatically kind of maintains itself. You know what I mean? And so there's a certain number that they know that they can control, and I think that's the number that they want to maintain it at. And what they do is they do population control, if you know what I'm saying. And I think in 2020 they accomplished that. I think there's probably going to be less children born. Anyway, so all right, let's look at these things, shall we? 8 days a week. Remember that Beatles song? All right, I'm going to pull up a visual here. Now, here is I'm not sure why they say pre-Christian Greek. Anyway, here's just kind of a quick days. We'll go over the days of the week first. There's a picture. I don't know if you can see that. The days of the week. Monday is the day of the moon. Tuesday, day of Tyre, god of war. Wednesday, day of Odin, ruler of the gods. We're going to go over these two more complete. Thursday, day of Thor, god of thunder. And Friday, day of Frigg, goddess of love. Saturday, day of Saturn, Roman father god. He's taking a bite out of that baby. I just noticed that. Sunday is the day of the sun. And remember, I mentioned one time that I think Tuesday killed Wednesday. One of these gods killed the other one. I think Tuesday killed Wednesday. Can't remember, right? One of these gods killed the other one, and I think it was Terry killed Odin. Not sure, but I think Tuesday killed Wednesday, which is kind of funny, actually. All right, let's see what this one is. All right, this is a pretty good. I don't know how well you can read it. So January comes from Janus, the Greek. There's also, of course, there's the original Olympian gods, but we're going to go over this first, because we have Greek gods and we have all kinds of people here. So January, we'll go over the months. January comes from Janus, the two-faced god. Remember, one looking forward to the future, one looking back. The god of doors, and this month opens the year. February, Februo, and it means purify. This was a Roman month of sacrifices and purification. So we're kind of going over the Roman gods right now, because that's kind of that's kind of the later one. So March is named after Mars, which, there's a planet Mars, they say. I don't know about that. But anyway, they say there's a lot of these are planets. But anyway, I don't know. Mars, god of war. By the way, It's that they came out with the name Mark, M-A-R-C, Mark. Mark, you see that name there, Mark, M-A-R-C? That was the most popular Roman boy's name, like about the time, like the Book of Mark, M-A-R-C, Mark is named after the Mars, the god of war. We just went over that on my other channel. Start of the year for soldiers, no fighting during winter. This just reminds me of something. It was kind of funny because back then they took the winters off. Like if they had a war going on, they took the winter off because it was too cold. So in the spring, the war would start back up and they'd go out. And that's when King David, well, back then, yeah, so start of the year for soldiers was March, which is why it's the god of war, represents Mars, March, god of war, because you go back to war in March. Okay, you took the winter off. And as a matter of fact, that's why King David, that's why the women were bathing on their housetops, because they thought King David went back to war because it was after March, the beginning of March. So all the guys, and they did, all the soldiers went back in March. They go back to war. So they all went back to war. So the women thought the men, because the only ones that could see down on top of your house, because that's where you took your baths, that's where your privacy was, on your housetop. Everybody, it's like your yard, but it's private. It's on your housetop. The only ones that could see you on your housetop was the king in the castle. He would look down. He's the only one that's high enough to look down on all the houses. All right, his King David, he was the only one that could look down on top of housetops. So in the winter, they'd be careful not to have anybody see him. But hey, once March comes, the king and all the soldiers in the castle are gone. So Bathsheba went on her roof and took a bath, and well, everybody else went back to war except for King David. For some reason, he wanted to stay behind, and so that's why she was on her rooftop, because he was supposed to be gone. But anyway, it's another story. But March is named after Mars, the Roman god of war. The Roman calendar originally began in March. The Roman calendar. And the months of January and February were added later. So it used to start at March, because that was the start. Let's see. April takes its name from the Latin word apparir or something, meaning to open, just like how flowers open up in the spring. So April, apparir, means to open up. Is what the flowers open up in April. This is a month when the trees open their leaves. Oh, trees too, yeah. All plants and everything open up in April. The month of May is Maya. Maya, goddess of growth. This is a month when plants really start to grow. And then we have June, named after Juno, queen of the gods. And so June is named after Roman goddess Juno, the god of marriage and childbirth. And that's why to this day, people, June is the wedding month, remember? Because it is the god of marriage and childbirth. So yeah, that's why people get married in June, because it is the Greek goddess of love and all that stuff. All right, and all that crap. All right, July is named after who? Julius Caesar, in Rome anyway. He's a ruler of Rome. He reorganized the calendar, so yeah, might as well name it after. So July and August, actually July and August, he got two of them. July and August were named after Julius Caesar and Rome's first emperor, Augustus. So as you can see, the guys got their. Of course, I'm sure they thought they were God, so might as well, right? So July, Julius Caesar, ruler of Rome, and Augustus. So Julius Caesar, he reorganized the calendar. Of course, he gave himself a month. And Augustus, he thought he was at least as important as Julius Caesar, right? Because he was Rome's first empire, right? So September, October, November, and December were named after Roman numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whoa, that sounds like one of those YouTube prophets. Wait, I got snagged. Hold on a second. September, October, November, December are named after Roman numbers 7, 8, 9, 10. They were originally the 7th. Does this sound familiar, Grace? 7th, 8th, and 9th month. Oh my goodness. That's somebody on. Anyway, my understanding, they once believed Saturn was a second sun and worshipped it as a sun. Really? I mean, are these planets really up there? Or are they just seeing firebombs or something? I don't know. September 7, counting from March, it's the 7th one. October, if you count from March, it's the 8th one. November, if you count from March, it's the 9th, and so on and so forth. I gotta shrink it down to get more. Anyway. Sound familiar? Yeah, 7th, 8th, and 9th month prophecy. That will fail, by the way. Actually, you can count on it. If you had money to bet somewhere, do it. All right, so let's get a little bit, just a little bit, one more. So the history behind the months of the year, we're going to go through that too here. History behind the months of the year. While we're all used to our 12 months of the year, the calendar hasn't always looked that way. Early Greek and Babylonian calendars used the lunar cycle to chart their months. The Roman Empire added these systems to their first Roman calendar, which would face a few more revisions over the next millennia. So in the Roman calendar, 738 BC, King Romulus, who was was Romans named after, Rome, Romulus. And it's a 10-month calendar. That was a 10-month calendar. See, this didn't work out too good, did it? 10-month calendar with 355 days. You know, people would say, man, I feel like I'm getting older faster. Because, you know, anyway. But they evened it out because it had an 8-day week. Huh? More days a week. Oh, probably so they could work more. More days, an extra day a week, but shorter months. I don't know how that worked. Unnamed winter season. The Julian calendar, which was right before ours, the Julian calendar is 46 BC from Julius Caesar, of course. The Julian calendar from Julius. 12-month calendar had 365 days. Now that's getting close to what we got. Added the winter months, January from Ianius and February from Februarius, and to better match the lunar cycle, of course, right? Gregorian calendar. Now this is the one that we're on now. Now I find very interesting. Look at this. This is weird. Because I always wondered, when I was first learning about the Gregorian calendar, now why is it that the Gregorian calendar came out in 1882 AD, okay? Pope Gregory the 13th came out in 1882, but when they brought this calendar out, what did they do? They backdated it all the way to year number 1. So which would actually go past this. No, it would go back to year 1. So 46 BC, that calendar went all the way to 1882. So what's that? That's 1,882 years. Plus 46. 18. 80, 90, 110, 20. It says 1900 and something. So we're talking almost 2,000 years from Julian calendars. Right. Why backdate? Didn't you always wonder that? I always wondered, why would they backdate? Now, they took the Gregorian calendar and made it in 1882, but they backdated it to the year 1. How is that even possible? That's really suspect, especially when you know they're changing our history and all that stuff. So now they have a 12-month calendar. Again, same as Julian, a 12-month calendar. They adjusted the days of each month for more accurate leap years. Quite a bit. Every month was named and renamed in some cases. Roman mythology, Roman emperors, and Latin language. And that's what they're named after. The Roman mythology, Roman emperors, and the Latin language. That's what you have today on our Gregorian calendar. January, the Roman god Janus, originally and Uranus. Look at it, says like Uranus, just like the planet. Originally Uranus or whatever. In the Roman calendar, January is named after the two-faced Roman god Janus. Oops. They have a Pepsi ad with pizza on it. All right. The thing flung out of my hand here. It's not easy to say. It's not. I'm sorry. That's not to say he was untrustworthy. The two-faced. You know how you say, oh, you're two-faced. Well, Roman god Janus was two-faced because he looked into the future. On New Year's Day, he would look into the future, the new year, and he would also look back at the last year. So you call him two-faced, but probably not what we think of two-faced today. So that's not to say he was untrustworthy, like most two-faced people. Janus literally had two faces in Roman mythology, each symbolizing a part of a transitional period. Since January transitions us from last year to New Year, it was an apt symbol. Next, February is the festival of Februlia. February, yes, in the Roman calendar, refers to the Roman purification festival of Februlia, which comes from the Latin februa, to cleanse. So February means to cleanse. That's where the mysterious R comes from Latin. In Latin, februa is pronounced februa. You see that? Februus is pronounced februa. Februlia lasted for 12 days in the second month of the year and involved atonement and sacrifices to the Roman gods. March, the Roman god Mars. Like I said, that's where they get the Roman name Mark, which was the #1 name back then for a boy. In the Roman calendar, March or Martius, maybe that's where they get the word. It is where they get the word Martian from, because Martians are from Mars. Mark or Martius was the first official month of the year. It was named after the Roman god of war, Mars, because military operations began after the thaw of winter. Can you imagine now the military coming home and say, oh, you know, like a season like your lawnscaping business or something. Yeah, we're off now until next spring. All right, April. The Latin word aperio, known as Aprilis in the Roman calendar, April was named after the Latin word aperio, meaning to open. It refers to the opening of buds and blossoms in the month of April. May, the Roman goddess Maya. Oops. This thing does not want to scroll. May, the Roman goddess Maya. The springtime plant theme continues into May, Mayas, which was named after the earth and plant goddess Maya. In addition, the Greek name Maya means mother, another symbol of Earth's rebirth. June is a Roman goddess Juno. June's status as an ideal month for wedding dates all the way back to the Roman calendar. Originally, Eunice The month was named after Roman goddess of marriage, Juno, whose name has a root in the Latin word for youth, like juvenile. Juno, juvenile, youth. July, Julius Caesar. The Roman calendar named the rest of its month after their placement in the year. That's why July, the original 5th month of the year, remember that January and February didn't exist, was called Quintilis, which is 5th in Latin. After the death of Julius Caesar in 44 BC, the month was renamed July to honor the late leader. August, of course, is Augustus Caesar's month. August, the month of the Roman calendar, used to be Sextilis, meaning six in Latin, until 8 BC. Like July, the month was renamed after a prominent Roman leader, in this case, the first emperor, the Roman emperor, and Julius Caesar's heir, Augustus. September is Septem, which means 7. Even though the Roman calendar changed from 10 months to 12 months, the rest of the months kept their now accurate numbered names. September comes from the Latin word 7, septem, because it was originally 7th month of the year. The month has been named September in every iteration of the Roman calendar. October, octo, which means 8. If you ever wonder why both octopus and October begin with the Latin word for 8, wonder no more. October used to be the 8th month of the year. That's simple. These remember 7, 8, 9, named after the numbers 10. November is a Roman and Gregorian is November. Novem means 9. November is the month's name in Roman and Gregorian calendar. The Roman and the Gregorian calendar comes from the month's original placement of the year, the number 9. Novem means 9th in Latin. And December. December means 10. December has always been the last month of the year, but back when it was the Roman calendar, it was the 10th month, not the 12th. Decem means 10th, just like the prefix deci means 10. Like decimal, deci, December, deci means 10. Deci, decimal. All right, now let's look at the days of the week, shall we? Oops. Some artwork of Janus depicts him with 2, 3, or 4 faces. Yeah, I think I might have seen that. Plus, other countries didn't adapt the Gregorian calendar at the same time. Some waited years to switch over. Were they convinced to change? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it take a little convincing, you know what I mean? Hang them by their ankles off the Vatican porch or something. All right. And last, we have the days of the week, if I can find them. Let me shut some of these things here. The ones I'm not using don't need to be up. I think there was an 8-day week calendar. I wonder if people that their name is Janus, if they know who Janus, Janus is, a two-faced. It might not be spelled the same way, though. So there you go. All right. Here we go. Days of the week. Now, we just went through these. We just went through these Greek gods this week because that's why I wanted to go through them first. So when we do this, we know who these people are. Pre-Christian Greek weekday names. I'm not sure why they say pre-Christian, but anyway. So in English, we have Sunday. In the Greek, it's Helio. And the planet is the sun. So Sunday is sun worship, sun. Monday, Selinus. Selinus, which means moon, moon day. Tuesday, Arios, Mars. Wednesday, Hermu, Mercury. So you see, the days of the week are, each one of them is a planet. I'm sorry, Greek god or Roman god, whatever. It's the god that's what they worship. So Monday, Moon Day. Sunday, Sunday. Monday, Moon Day. Tuesday, Arios, Mars, also known as Taco Tuesday. Wednesday, Hermu, Mercury. Tuesday, Dios, Jupiter. Friday, Aphrodites, and that's Venus. Saturday is Chrono, and that is Saturn. So, yep. It all, they couldn't wait to get their hands on that calendar, could they? I'll show you one more. I got one. I guess I got one more tab. I think I got it. Rest of them closed though. Yes, they do. Okay, one more. I'll show you real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. Oh, we just kind of went over this, but Sunday in Spanish is Domingo. Italian is Domenica. French is Dimanche. Planet is the sun, and Germanic is sun. Tuesday, same thing. Mars, Aries. Germanic is Tui or Tu from Tyre, Norse god of war, son of Odin. So yeah, I think Tuesday killed Wednesday. Anyway, Wednesday, Mercury, Hermes, Odin, the wood horse, Odin or Wooden, which is actually where they get the picture of Santa Claus from, because Santa Claus is Odin, the gift giver, and Odin is has a reindeer and presents, I think. And he also, you know what else he has? He either has a Christmas tree or mistletoe. I can't remember. I think he's got a Christmas tree. Anyway, he's all about Wooden, Odin, same person. This is who Santa Claus is. If you pull up his picture, that's Santa Claus. Supreme Norse god. Hello, that's Santa Claus. Thursday, Juvies, as in juvenile. Judy, love, Jupiter, Judas. Thursday, god of thunder. Thursday, thunder. Friday, Vernes, Veridi, Vendredi, Venus, Aphrodite, Frigg, Freya, wife of Odin. And Saturday, of course, is Saturn, Cronus, no substitute. It is Saturn. So anyway, there you go. That is the that's the calendar we got. The months and the days of the weeks and the months have been heavily manipulated. So every day we say today is Tuesday, Norse god of Odin day. Well, actually, we don't say the last part. But then we say today is Wednesday, which means wooden. So every time you say the day of the week, it's like a shout out to that god. And every time you say the month, so if you say today is, like I say, today's June 26th, or today is Monday, June 26th, I just gave a shout out to Moon God and June. What was that one? Gemini, or whatever it was. So yeah, every time you say the month and the day of the week is a shout out to these gods, pretty much. That's what they were going for anyway. All right. Yeah, happy Moon Day. Yeah, happy Moon Day to everybody. Selena's Moon. Happy Moon Day. And that's about it. All right, guys. We're going to continue with a few more things in the next few days about these Greek gods and all this other stuff. And we're going to see. So this is tonight. We're going to show how first we went through the gods, the Greek gods. Then we showed their Roman counterparts. And now we're showing the calendar, how it was influenced by all this. And then the next few days, we're going to show you other things that have been influenced by all this. So anyway, all right. Anything else? Any comments or anything anybody wants to make before I wrap it up? Wrap it up and ramp it up. Yeah, happy Moon Day to everybody. Have a great Tuesday. Who is Tuesday named after? Oh, well. I have hiccups. All right. All right. Well, I will say good night then. Yep, I will say good night. I hope I didn't miss any comments. Good to see you in here, Patrick, tonight. And Grace, as always, good to see you. Anybody else that came in, thanks for coming in. And thank you, Mama Cat. Love you, Kathy. Love, prayers, blessings. See you all. Don't forget the tacos tomorrow. Taco Tuesday, yes. I actually couldn't wait till tomorrow, so I had tacos today. What the heck? I'll have them tomorrow, too. I have them about 3 times a week, and if it lands on Tuesday, that's fine. But yes, remember your tacos tomorrow and your whatever else you do on Tuesday. Anyway, all right. Love you guys. Thanks for coming in. God bless you all. Yes, eat your tacos. Say your prayers. Eat your tacos, and I don't know. Peace out. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Love.